There is a problem in Northern Ireland where there isn't extensive training in special effects makeup for TV and film. Therefore, a lot of local artists aren't getting the opportunities to work on films over here. There's a lot of filming happening here, but not a lot of local talent being in the films. So we set up Titanic Creative Management to address that issue. We want to be able to train up local artists so they are at the same skill level as people from England, Scotland, Europe, so they can compete at a national and international level with these artists and also work on films locally here. So we're just at the very right time now. Now there's a lot of interest for film over here, and we're at the right time to start setting these academies up and these schools up so that we can start competing on a national level. But up to this point it hasn't been there. The investment hasn't been there, but we think that's going to start changing. The more investment we're going to get from Universal, Disney, HBO and everyone else, so we're hoping that's going to change. This specific course has come out of the Arts and Business programme. Movie House Cinemas had sponsored us back in June for bursary support. We've got a lot of students who want to train in special effects makeup with us who can't necessarily afford the fees. So we offer bursaries. We get bursary support from the Movie House. So Arts and Business came along, and as a thank you to the Movie House, we managed to set up this project. Their target audience is 16-25. They want to encourage young people to use the cinema more, and Hunger Games is a key audience for that. So we brought over a Hunger Games makeup artist to work with young people here in Belfast.
Well, I've been working in television and film for 15 years now. I've been in Los Angeles for 12 years. I moved there after training in London. And any given month, I'm probably working on 5 or 6 different projects, bouncing around one show and another. Well, I had a colleague contact me a few months ago, and he said he'd been teaching with a new school, Titanic Creative Management in Belfast. And one of the instructors said, well, we're using this mold, it's called the Hurt Box, made by Brian Kinney. And he kind of did a double take because we've worked together for 12 years. He said, Brian's my mate. And they said, would he be interested in maybe coming over and talking with us? And he said, I'm sure he would. So they contacted me. I hadn't been to Belfast in 18 years, not since I was a backpacker long ago. And they said, we'd love to have you come and teach and do some talks with us. So I came over in June. We got on great, and more workshops have cropped up since. So it's been a really wonderful family. I was lucky enough to get to work on Hunger Games Mockingjay. And I worked under V. Neal, Nicoletta Scarlatos, Connor McCulloch, and about 50 other wonderful makeup artists. So today we were just talking about some of the basic looks that we had to do for Capitol denizens. I was here in town teaching for Titanic Creative Management, and this came about through the theater, so I thought I'd just share what some of our typical stuff is like on the show.
Brian's a big name, so he is in makeup artistry, and for someone to be here in person, I think you see people's names in credits and stuff, but you don't see a face. You don't see, whenever you see someone like him putting brush to face, it's a bit more personal. Everyone sort of then is really positive. There's a lot of students here, and they're trying to sort of develop their talent, and if they see an artist like Brian giving tutelage, it sort of motivates them a lot more, and it's like, well, maybe we can do something.
I think it's amazing how special effects makeup and everything can just change one person, and I just love that, just being different. When I first came, I thought it was going to be like super hard and I wouldn't know what to do, but it was brilliant. After it's finished, it looks actually harder than it is, but it's nice to like find out the steps, each step of it. So it was brilliant. I loved it.
With these workshops, it's really sort of presented the way it would be for a makeup artist that was working on the show. Somebody sits in your chair, you have maybe 15 minutes, their wardrobe and hair is phenomenal, you have a whole multitude of colors and different products, and you have to just kind of think on your feet and jump in. So much of what we do is just adapting, just improvising, making it up as you go, taking a stylized look that someone's designed and doing your best with the materials.
Film and television industry is a very close-knit community. It's very hard sometimes for an outsider to break into the industry, so we're putting our faces out there to sort of designers and artists and letting them know that there are working artists, trained artists, professional artists in Northern Ireland that are available to work.
I think so much of what I do I take for granted, so when I'm doing a makeup I sort of get in the zone. I'm not necessarily breaking down every material I'm using or every process. So today's been fantastic because they're asking the questions, they want to know about, why would you choose this over this? How would you come about using different materials in conjunction with each other? So when you're doing a makeup and you're surrounded by people when you're surrounded by other makeup artists that all sort of know the same techniques, sometimes you forget how exciting it is to share it with somebody that doesn't necessarily see it on a daily basis.
We have these big artists coming over and they're inspiring people, but we need to follow that up with support. pastorally, so we would give a lot of support in people's early stage of their careers. We would search for work experience for people to go and work with artists here locally and work underneath people in theatre, film, and we would try and get them that experience, and then we would encourage them to get jobs with us. We would find jobs and get film companies to contact us, and we would put them out there. Once we're confident that they know enough and they've trained and they have the confidence to get out there on their own, that's what we would do. By working with people from LA and from England and people who are working outside of Northern Ireland, that gives a lot of inspiration. It's always good to have people with a different way of thinking, a different way of training, a different creative path to come into Northern Ireland and inspire people. Otherwise, I think things can get a bit stagnant and a bit stale. I don't think it does any harm to learn off from people who are working in a very, very different background to where we're working from. I don't think it does any harm. So I think that's where we come from and the angle we're taking.
The work I've seen coming out here is fantastic. I'm so excited that Northern Ireland has these opportunities. So if I can contribute in any way to help raise the skill level, I'm more than happy to. I really have it close to heart. So I'm excited to see what's coming.